The verdict, the message that changed everything. Captain Elena Vasquez stood in the observation deck of Luna Station, watching Earth rotate slowly beneath her. The blue marble looked peaceful from here, unaware that everything was about to change. Her communication device buzzed with an urgent priority signal. The message came from the Galactic Assembly, bearing the official seal that made her stomach tighten. She read the decree once, then twice, her face growing paler with each word. The Assembly had voted. Humanity was being exiled from galactic civilization. The Council's decision. The vote had been overwhelming. 47 galactic species had declared humans too unpredictable, too innovative, and too dangerous to remain part of the interstellar community. The official statement cited humanity's chaotic nature and disruptive technological advancement as threats to galactic stability. Elena immediately contacted Earth's leadership. Within hours, she found herself in a secure conference room with Chancellor David Park, Admiral Sarah Torres, and Dr. Marcus Chen. The holographic display showed the Assembly's full statement, each line more damning than the last. "They're giving us 6 months," Chancellor Park said, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "All human presence beyond Earth's solar system must be withdrawn, all colonies abandoned, all trade agreements terminated." Admiral Torres slammed her fist on the table. 37 colonies, hundreds of space stations, millions of citizens. They expect us to abandon everything we've built in 6 months? Dr. Chen, the youngest person in the room, looked up from his tablet. "There's something else. My contacts in the Assembly have sent unofficial warnings. This exile isn't just about keeping us contained." The real threat, Elena, activated another holographic display, showing intelligence reports gathered by Earth's deep space monitoring stations. The Zephyrian Empire has been building up their military fleets for months, long before this vote happened. The room fell silent as the implications became clear. The Zephyrians, an aggressive species that had conquered dozens of worlds, had been planning this. The exile wasn't meant to contain humanity. It was meant to isolate them before the real attack came. "They want our resources," Admiral Torres said, grimly. "Earth's unique biodiversity, our technological innovations, our strategic location. Once we're cut off from potential allies, they'll move in." Chancellor Park stood up, his decision already made. "Then we don't give them the chance. Activate the Last Stand protocol." The secret plan. Dr. Chen's eyes widened. He had heard rumors of the protocol, a contingency plan developed in absolute secrecy by Earth's top scientists and military strategists. Few people knew it actually existed. "The protocol has been in development for 15 years, Admiral Torres explained. "Ever since we first encountered aggressive alien species, we knew someday we might face an existential threat." Elena felt a chill of excitement mixed with fear. "What does it involve?" Chancellor Park activated a new set of displays, showing star charts marked with dozens of previously unknown installations. "For the past decade, we've been secretly building infrastructure throughout uncharted space. Deep space research stations, hidden supply depots, automated manufacturing facilities." Dr. Chen stared at the displays in amazement. "You've been preparing for something like this all along." "Not just preparing," Admiral Torres said with a slight smile. "We've been building the foundation for humanity's next evolution. The Zephyrians think they're trapping us in our solar system. They don't realize they're about to free us from the limitations of known space." The quantum revolution. Dr. Chen had been working on theoretical quantum tunnel technology for years, but always as a purely scientific pursuit. Now he understood why his research had received such generous funding and resources. "Your quantum tunnel project," Chancellor Park said, "is the key to everything. If we can create stable wormholes for instantaneous travel, we can establish colonies faster than any known species can detect or respond to." Elena looked at the young scientist. "Is it possible? Can you actually create these tunnels?" Dr. Chen's hands trembled slightly as he pulled up his research files. "The theoretical framework is sound. We've had small-scale successes in laboratory conditions. But creating tunnels large enough for ships, stable enough for regular use, that's never been attempted." How long would you need? Admiral Torres asked. 6 months if everything goes perfectly, Dr. Chen replied. But there's no guarantee of success. The energy requirements alone are enormous. Chancellor Park's expression hardened. Then we make sure everything goes perfectly. Every resource on Earth and in the solar system is now at your disposal. The deception begins. Over the following weeks, Earth appeared to comply with the Assembly's demands. Colony ships began returning home, space stations powered down, and trade routes closed. The Zephyrian observer fleets, positioned just outside human space, reported that humanity was accepting their fate. But beneath this compliance, the real work was beginning. Dr. Chen's laboratory on Luna Station became a hive of activity. The best engineers, physicists, and technicians from across the solar system quietly joined his team. They worked in shifts around the clock, knowing that humanity's survival depended on their success. Elena found herself coordinating between the public face of compliance and the secret preparation for humanity's greatest gamble. She watched Zephyrian ships patrol the edges of the solar system, their alien crews no doubt planning how to divide up humanity's resources. The first success. 3 months into the project, Dr. Chen achieved his first major breakthrough. In a heavily shielded laboratory deep within Luna's core, a stable quantum tunnel formed between 2 chambers. The tunnel remained open for 17 minutes before collapsing, but it was proof that the technology could work. "We can do this," Dr. Chen announced to the assembled team, his voice hoarse from exhaustion but filled with determination. "We can actually do this." The tunnels wouldn't just allow faster-than-light travel, they would make distance irrelevant. A ship could travel from Earth to the far edge of the galaxy in seconds, limited only by the energy required to create and maintain the tunnel. Elena realized the implications immediately. The Zephyrians expect us to expand slowly, system by system, the way other species do. But with this technology, we could establish colonies across an entire galactic arm before they even know we've left home, Admiral Torres finished. Preparing for war. As the Quantum Tunnel project progressed, other aspects of the Last Stand protocol activated. Hidden manufacturing facilities throughout the solar system began producing a new class of warships designed specifically for quantum tunnel warfare. These vessels were smaller and faster than traditional ships, built to appear and disappear without warning. Elena often found herself standing in the observation deck, watching the controlled chaos of preparation. Supply ships moved between Earth and the outer planets, their holds filled with everything needed to establish new colonies. Thousands of volunteers prepared for the greatest migration in human history, knowing they might never see Earth again. The Zephyrian observer fleets continued their patient watch, reporting that humanity was withdrawing as ordered. Their commanders probably felt satisfied with their easy victory. They had no idea that humanity was preparing to disappear not in defeat, but in triumph. The point of no return with 2 months left in the exile deadline, Dr. Chen achieved full-scale tunnel stability. The first test transport, carrying a crew of 12 volunteers, successfully traveled from Luna Station to a previously unknown star system 50 light-years away. The journey took 43 seconds. "We're ready," Dr. Chen announced to the assembled leadership. "We can begin the exodus immediately." Chancellor Park looked around the room at the faces of humanity's leaders. Each person present understood that they were about to make a decision that would change human civilization forever. "Once we begin, there's no going back," he said quietly. "We'll be abandoning the protection of known space for the uncertainty of the unknown. We'll be making ourselves into something new." Elena thought about the Zephyrian fleets waiting just outside their solar system, planning their conquest. She thought about the assembly species who had voted to exile humanity without understanding what they were unleashing. "They wanted to get rid of us because they thought we were too unpredictable," she said. "Let's show them exactly how unpredictable humans can be." Admiral Torres smiled grimly. "The Last Stand protocol is authorized. Begin the exodus." As the meeting ended, Elena returned to her observation deck one last time. Tomorrow, the first wave of colony ships would disappear into quantum tunnels, carrying humanity into a future that no alien species had ever imagined. The exile was about to become the greatest expansion in galactic history. The Zephyrians had made one critical mistake. They had given humanity time to prepare, and humans had never been more dangerous than when they were cornered with time to think. The Exodus Gambit, the great disappearance commander Jin Watanabe stood on the bridge of the ESS Prometheus, watching, the quantum tunnel iris open before them. The swirling energy barrier looked like a doorway to another dimension, which in many ways it was. Behind him, 49 other ships of humanity's first expedition fleet waited for the signal to jump. "All systems green," reported the navigation officer. "Tunnel is stable and locked on to target coordinates." Jin took a deep breath. In a few seconds, he would become the first human to travel beyond known space through technology that most alien species considered impossible. "Fleet Command, this is Prometheus. Beginning transit in 3, 2, 1, jump." The sensation was indescribable. One moment they were in Earth's solar system, the next, they emerged into an unexplored star, system 400 light-years away. The entire journey had taken 12 seconds. Building the network, Dr. Amara Okafor stood in the science bay of the Prometheus, analyzing the readings from their destination system. The star was slightly smaller than Earth's sun, but it had 3 planets in the habitable zone. All 3 showed signs of water and stable atmospheres. "This is incredible," she reported to Commander Watanabe. "All 3 worlds are suitable for colonization with minimal terraforming. It's like this system was designed for us." Within hours, automated construction drones were building the infrastructure for humanity's first quantum tunnel colony. The process was unlike anything attempted before. Instead of the slow, methodical expansion used by other species, humanity was creating an instant network of interconnected worlds. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen watched the progress reports with satisfaction. Each successful colony establishment allowed them to build more tunnels, extending humanity's reach deeper into unexplored space. Within 2 weeks, they had established 17 colonies across a region of space larger than the entire Zephyrian Empire. The Zephyrian trapped Zektar. The Zephyrian fleet commander received the report with satisfaction. Human ships had stopped leaving Earth's solar system. Their colonies appeared to be shutting down on schedule. Intelligence suggested that most humans had already returned to Earth, accepting their exile. "Send a message to the Assembly," Zektar ordered his communications officer. "Humanity has complied with the exile order. We are ready to begin resource acquisition operations." The response came quickly. The Assembly granted the Zephyrian Empire permission to claim Earth's former colonies and establish control over human space. It was exactly what Zektar had been waiting for. He activated his fleet's combat systems and ordered the advance toward Earth. 200 warships, the largest fleet the Zephyrians had ever assembled, began their final approach. They expected to find a defeated species ready for conquest. The real humanity General Harrison Reed stood in the command center on Luna Station, watching the Zephyrian fleet approach. Beside him, Chancellor Park and Admiral Torres observed the alien ships moving into their trap. "They're taking the bait perfectly," Admiral Torres reported. "All ships are focused on Earth and the inner planets. They have no idea what's waiting for them." The Zephyrians had made a critical error. They assumed humans would react like other species, gathering their forces for a defensive battle around their homeworld. Instead, humanity had evacuated most of their population and was preparing for something unprecedented. "Phase 2 is authorized," Chancellor Park announced. "Show them what happens when you corner a species that's been planning for this day." Throughout the solar system, hidden installations powered up. Space-based weapons platforms that had been disguised as mining equipment revealed their true nature. Quantum tunnel generators created gateways for the real human fleet, which had been waiting in distant systems. The battle that changed everything. Zektar watched in confusion as his forward scouts reported strange energy signatures throughout the human solar system. Before he could process what was happening, human ships began appearing from nowhere. materializing through quantum tunnels in perfect attack formations. "Impossible," he muttered, watching his tactical display fill with enemy contacts. "They don't have this technology." The assembly confirmed that humans lack advanced, faster-than-light capabilities. Commander Watanabe, now leading the first quantum fleet, spoke over the communication channels. "Zephyrian Fleet, this is the human starship Prometheus. You are trespassing in sovereign human space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." Zektar's response was to order his fleet to attack. It was the last mistake he would make as a free commander. The battle was unlike anything in galactic history. Human ships appeared and disappeared at will, striking from impossible angles and vanishing before the Zephyrians could respond. The quantum tunnel technology allowed perfect coordination across the entire battle space. Dr. Okafor, monitoring the battle from a colony ship, watched in amazement as human tactical doctrine evolved in real time. "They're not just fighting a battle," she reported to Dr. Chen. "They're teaching the galaxy that the old rules no longer apply." The assembly's shock on the assembly homeworld, Velnoth watched the battle reports with growing alarm. The Velnoth had been one of the few species to vote against humanity's exile, and now they were witnessing exactly what they had feared. "The humans aren't just defending themselves," Velnoth reported to the emergency assembly session. "They're demonstrating technologies we've never seen. Instantaneous travel, coordinated fleet actions across impossible distances, combat doctrines that make our military strategies obsolete." The assembly chamber erupted in panicked discussions. Species that had voted for humanity's exile began to realize they had not removed a threat. They had created one. "How many colonies do they have now?" demanded the Zephyrian representative, his voice tight with fear. Velnoth consulted the latest intelligence reports. At least 47 confirmed colonies across uncharted space. The number is growing daily. They're expanding faster than we can track. The new galactic order: within 6 hours, the Zephyrian fleet was destroyed or in retreat. Zektar himself was captured and brought before Commander Watanabe on the Prometheus. The alien commander looked at his human captors with a mixture of fear and respect. "You planned this all along," Zektar said. "The exile was never a punishment for you. It was an opportunity." Watanabe nodded slowly. "You tried to cage us because you thought we were dangerous. You never understood that humans are most dangerous when we're free to innovate without restrictions." Back on Earth, Chancellor Park addressed the assembly through quantum communication channels. His message was broadcast across known space, reaching every species in the galaxy simultaneously. "The exile is over," Park announced. "Humanity is no longer withdrawing from galactic civilization. We are expanding beyond it. Any species that threatens human colonies or citizens will face the full response of our quantum tunnel fleets." The future, unleashed, Dr. Chen stood in his laboratory, watching the quantum tunnel generators power down after another successful colony establishment. In 3 months, humanity had gone from a species facing exile to the most rapidly expanding civilization in galactic history. "How many colonies now?" Elena asked, joining him at the observation window. 63 confirmed, with 12 more under construction," Dr. Chen replied. "At this rate, we'll have over 200 colonies within a year." Elena smiled, thinking about the assembly's reaction to humanity's transformation. "They wanted to get rid of us because they thought we were too unpredictable. I wonder what they think now." Through the quantum communication network, reports flowed in from across human space. New worlds were being explored, new technologies developed, new possibilities discovered. The exile that was meant to contain humanity had instead unleashed their full potential. The assembly's new reality. Velnoth stood before the assembly once more, delivering the final report on humanity's expansion. The chamber was silent as the implications became clear. "In attempting to exile humanity from galactic civilization," Velnoth said, "we have instead created a new type of galactic civilization. Humans now control more territory than any single species in recorded history. Their technology allows them to coordinate across impossible distances and expand at unprecedented rates." The assembly faced a choice: They could attempt to unite against humanity, risking a war against opponents who had already proven their technological superiority. Or they could adapt to a galaxy where humans were no longer a minor species seeking acceptance, but a major power setting new rules. I propose, Velnoth continued, that we formally recognize human sovereignty over their expanding territories and establish diplomatic relations with their new government. The age of containing humanity is over. The age of learning from them has begun, humanity's promise. From his command center on Luna Station, Chancellor Park watched the Assembly's debate with satisfaction. The vote to recognize human independence passed overwhelmingly. Species that had voted for exile now competed to establish friendly relations with humanity's expanding empire. But Park knew this was only the beginning. The quantum tunnel technology that had saved humanity from exile would now reshape the entire galaxy. Trade routes that took months to travel could be crossed in seconds. Resources could be shared instantly across vast distances. The possibilities were limitless. Status report from the outer colonies? Park asked Admiral Torres. All colonies. Reporting successful establishment. The newest settlements are already requesting authorization to explore even further into uncharted space. Park smiled, thinking about the journey that had brought them here. The Assembly had tried to exile humanity because they feared human unpredictability. They had been right to fear it, but for the wrong reasons. Humans weren't dangerous because they were chaotic or disruptive. They were dangerous because when faced with an impossible situation, they didn't accept defeat. They innovated their way to victory. The exile was over. The expansion had only just begun, and somewhere in the vast network of quantum tunnels connecting human colonies across the galaxy, the next chapter of human civilization was already being written. In the end, the Assembly had been right about one thing. Humans were too unpredictable to be contained. But they had learned too late that the solution was never to cage humanity. It was to give them room to grow. The galaxy would never be the same.